Okay, it's Mike Matthews, the host of the longest running podcast that's daily. That's not what we say, is it? What do we usually say at the beginning of this show? My little boast about this podcast. The longest running self-produced daily podcast. That's right. I produce it myself. I don't have any help from anyone. I get a little help from the interesting news items. Those come from other journalists. Sure, I give credit where credit's due, but dang it, I put this whole thing together all on my own. Like my website, I put that up there all on my own, mikesdailypodcast.com. So, hey, a little credit would be appreciated now and then. What? Did I sound I came off a little bit wanting of appreciation, as if I were needy and wanton. I don't want to do that. I'm going to take it down a bit. There, much better. All right, we got some fascinating things to get to today about stuff that's happening right now in this world that we are living in. What? We're going to do that by going to a cool place that we can sit down and relax and enjoy each other's company. What's that place called? Cafe Anyway. Let's go inside. Come on. Cafe Anyway. It's FF episode
Mike's Daily Podcast
2934. Why does Mike sound a little bit irritated? It's because he already did this show.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And then the computer crashed and I lost everything. That is ridiculous. That, I think, is the first time that has happened in a long time. I'm not even going to bother singing. I had all these cool, interesting things to talk about. I don't know what the heck. All right. Things happen, right? That's what we'll say. Podcast picture, I'll just tell you right now, is from earlier this evening. I saw an interesting thing.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's popping up all over the place, as you well know. Halloween decorations. I saw some cool ones. You can see it at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Mike's
Okay, so we got Christmas coming up in less than 70 days. So
yeah.
Shoppers say they're going to spend less money on holiday gifts this year. Wow, what a surprise. So retailers have struggled with waning demand. Spending intentions for gifts declined 3% from a year ago. Shoppers will spend 8% more, though. So it declined a little bit. But they're going to spend a little bit more, 8%, with spending on experiences, decorations, and entertainment driving those gains. I've said all this already, but I have to act like I haven't. This is great. Retailers will need to offer more promotions and discounts to lure the shoppers in. And then I had an interesting thing where I was ranting about how, oh my gosh, there are so many people that are so over the high prices. And high prices have eroded customers' brand loyalty. Why should I pay for your brand if you keep hiking up the prices? Same thing with people not going to restaurants anymore. Why should I go have that delicious burrito when it used to cost less than $8 and now it's costing me $16? It's gone twice up in price. It's doubled in price in the past 3 years. And I ranted about that. And Americans are shifting purchases to retailers and brands deemed more affordable. And then I ranted about how Tom Brady is becoming part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and who cares, but this is a big topic on sports radio.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And I talked about how I can't stand sports podcasts and sports radios stations, and that's all that's here in the Bay Area, are sports radio stations. And that there was somebody on a music station that's owned by, there's basically sports stations and music stations in the Bay Area. That's it. And this one lady, in the podcast picture, I told you what that was already. And this lady on this one music station that's owned by a company I used to work for years ago, not 4 years ago, but 4, years ago. She was saying, oh, I got all my Christmas shopping done. And I thought, you're pathetic. Why? Why do you even worry about stuff like that? Why do you need to do it so you get it out of the way? Late great Basil the Boxer. He's wonderful and happy and always jumping around. And he's not in today's podcast picture, but he was in the last one. See that at mikesdailypodcast.com. Could not get any of the show back. So this is very upsetting. So my point is, why be concerned about? There are other things. They're utterly way more important things to worry about than Christmas shopping. When it's less than 70 days away, who cares? You've got 2 other seasons before that. You've got voting season, which I went to vote tonight. And as I was putting my ballot in the box, and I had this fun story to tell you about that, because there was a lady that showed up just when I did. And I said, it's nice to get this out of the way. And she goes, yeah, I agree. And then another guy showed up. 3 people were voting at the same time. And it was just an off night. Early voting is happening, and it's big. And I don't know if it's all Democrats doing it. I think it's a mixture of just people just done with all of this political talk, which I will stop, but I will say...
Now that's legit.
It was pretty much predicted that Kamala would not do well on Fox in that interview. She apparently did show up 15 minutes late. That's inexcusable. She wanted the interview time shortened from 30 minutes to 20 minutes. That's weird. But, the other guy, Trump, whenever he does an interview, he always complains about the people doing the interview and goes on and then everybody stands up for him and apologizes for him. So I'm not going to be an apologist for Kamala. It was what it was. Anyway, what else did I talk about already election predictions. So the Polymarket offshore crypto platform, a lot of people are using that for election prediction and for betting. And apparently Trump is doing really well with it. But it is an offshore crypto platform, which means only people outside of America can bet on it. So these are not Americans, that the people outside of America can't vote. We have to vote. It's not a good representation. So take that with a grain of salt.
I can't believe, what the hell is this place anyway?
In England, they say with a pinch of salt. But not with a grain of salt. Why? I don't know. So they apparently, though, Polymarket have taken $1.9 billion worth of bets on the election. And then there's also Kalshi, Predict It, although it looks like something else if you might say it wrong. Those are the other ones. Then there's an interesting thing here I got from Rob Black. Rob Black is the guy I produce his podcast. He's heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings and on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. He said Elon Musk set up 100,000 NVIDIA H200 GPUs in 19 days. The GPUs were all part of an XAI supercomputer. So that's kind of interesting. He's always fiddling with things. He's always is it not canoodling? He's always whittling. He's whittling with technological thingies. Oh, and this last thing, 2 clown movies. Terrifier 3. It won the US box office with $18+ million. Pulled that in. Basically, it made back 9 times what they paid to make the movie. Cafe anyway. Meanwhile, the Joker, Folie à Deux, just made $7 million in its second weekend, which meant it had an 81% decline from the first week. And that is historic. Or for some of you, you say historic. Not sure why. Where are we? Oh. California is ranked the 15th safest state to retire. This from Seniority.com. They took into account data from the FBI, the CDC, the BLS, that's the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and the Department of Transportation. They came up with the 10 safest states to retire. California is not in that list because it's at number 15. And number 10 is Alabama. Number 9 is Connecticut. Number 8, Illinois.
Good morning, Miss
Good morning, kids. Number 7, Pennsylvania. Number 6, Rhode Island. Number 5, Nebraska. Number 4, Louisiana. Number 3, Mississippi. Number 2, New York. And number 1, New Jersey. How on earth can New Jersey be the safest place to retire? But that's what they say. You missed all. This is the first podcast, but because the computer crashed, everything got lost. Ridiculous. Okay. I guess that's pretty much the end of the show. Look who's here. Hi, Mac. It's Benita Rodin Queen. How y'all doing? It's a disgruntled player. I think it was right about here. It crashed. It did. Right here. It crashed. Oh, I was talking about drugs. Why was that? Oh, I was talking about addiction. Because I think this voting, this election betting is a sign of a bad streak of addiction that is going on with America. And that made me think of the TV show Elementary, which features Sherlock Holmes in modern day New York, although modern day now, that show came out 10 years ago, so it's slightly modern now. But is that postmodern? Lucy Liu is Watson. She plays Joan Watson. And in it, Sherlock Holmes, because in the original, I believe he had some kind of opium or heroin addiction. In this show, he has a heroin addiction. By the way, this is way better than the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes. I am ready to not watch the Benedict Cumberbatch version again, because that was just too hand wavy and nuts. Martin Freeman's in it. I mean, stylistically, it looks great, and it was revolutionary in a lot of ways, but no. In Elementary, it is so well done, and he is an addict, and he says things like this: the only thing more hazardous to my health than boredom is a lack of caffeine. I'm not a sociopath. I'm a high-functioning autistic. You know, I've always thought that the most interesting people are the ones who don't know that they're interesting. And finally, he said, it's not about the drugs. It's about the boredom. Thought all those. And every show I watch, I'm in the middle. I'm on season 3 finally. I think 7 seasons all together. Every episode, I'm like, oh wow, there's some good. That was a good line. I gotta remember that one. Little quotes. Anyway, where else? Look who's pouring me root beer. Hello, Mike. I make delicious root beer. Have some right now. Hey, I'm gonna drink it right now. Drink it right now, could you? Oh, it was so delicious. Thank you for stopping by and bringing that. Brewmaster, what do you think about the show? Here's the phone number.
Call Mike at the Cafe Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Thank you so much for listening to the Bridge Show. I got the show done in under 12 minutes. This is amazing, and I'll tell you why. It's because I did it already. But it's amazing what you can do when you did it again. So much faster. Wow. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.